Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best first blood champions, or like the most snowbally champions in the game. So in this video, I'm going to go over a few picks for each role. Some of the roles I'm going to go over like more than a few champions, just because there are a lot of good first blood champions, for example, in the jungle. So with that being said guys, let's get into the video. So first up, we're going to start down in the bot lane for this video, and we're going to start it off with support. Now the number one first blood champion here is going to be Blitzcrank. So the reason why Blitzcrank is so good at getting first bloods is just because of his hook. Now when you play Blitzcrank, I would honestly recommend taking Ignite in the laning phase, and if you do get that one hook off on like the enemy squishy support or the AD carry, then look to just try to all in them, put that Ignite on them, because if you do get that kill with Blitz, then you've pretty much just won the laning phase right there. Now my two honorable mentions for support are Thresh and Leona. So Thresh is very similar to Blitzcrank in the sense that if you get that one hook, then it's very easy to follow up and just look for that first blood. Also, like Blitz, if you're confident on your Thresh, then take Ignite and look to go really aggressive once you do hit level 2. With these champions, you want to try to like rush that level 2 as quick as possible, and then once you do get level 2, just go super aggressive, try to get that hook, and if you do, then you're probably going to at least burn summoners, and if you're lucky, then you might end up getting first blood. And the other honorable mention is going to be Leona. So Leona does have a very good level 2 all-in. The only reason why she is like an honorable mention instead of maybe like a little bit higher is because she can be countered pretty hard by someone like a Janna, a Thresh, or Morgana. They can definitely counter her level 2 all-in if they do play it correctly. For example, if Morgana does place the spell shield, then Leona can't stun. If Thresh goes for the flay when she jumps in, then she can't really do too much. But if she is going up against like a support who doesn't have the potential to like knock her up or to spell shield, then she can just look to go for that level 2 EQ onto the AD carry or support. And if she does have Ignite, then it should be a pretty, you should at least burn flash, if not get the kill at level 2. Now moving over to AD carry now, my number one first blood AD carry is going to be Draven. So Draven's damage early on in the game is absolutely insane with his axes. His axes just allow him to pretty much outduel any other AD carry. If he is playing with someone, or if he is playing with an aggressive support, someone like a Thresh or a Blitzcrank, then that early game is just insane, and you should definitely be looking to rush that level 2, look to go all in, because your damage, you're going to out damage like every other AD carry in the game as long as you do play it correctly. And if your support does have Ignite, then you should be able to pick up first blood a lot of the time with Draven. And the two honorable mentions here for AD carry are going to be Jhin and Caitlyn. So Jhin does have a very good level 2 all-in with his root from his W, and if he is playing with an aggressive support, then it's very easy to look for that first blood with Jhin. His force shot also does give him a lot of damage, and people never expect like how much damage that fourth shot is going to do, so you can definitely surprise your opponents and get a nice first blood a lot of the time with Jhin. Now Caitlyn, she isn't really the most aggressive AD carry in the game, but the reason why she can get first bloods and why she is a strong first blood AD carry is because she can just outpoke like almost any other AD carry in the game, and once she does get the enemy AD carry or support low, then that's when your support can look to go aggressive, look to go for like that hook, or look to go for the engage, and if you do get that engage off, then you should be able to finish off the kill. If the enemies do step on your trap as well in the early game, that's going to deal a lot of damage. So if you are playing with someone like an Alistair or a Blitzcrank or even a Thresh, then you can position your trap so that once they do get out of your support's crowd control, they're going to have to step on the trap, and that just allows for a lot of damage in the early game. Now taking a look at the mid lane right here, my first pick for mid lane is going to be LeBlanc. So LeBlanc is getting a rework, and honestly I haven't even looked at the LeBlanc rework at all, so I'm not sure if this is going to change for the upcoming season, if she's not going to be the best at getting first bloods anymore. But right now she's a very good first blood mid lane champion. Her combo at level 3 can pretty much one-shot any other mid lane champion if she does play it correctly, and if you do take Ignite on her, which I don't know why you wouldn't, then you can definitely look to go for some nice first bloods, especially if you are up against like a squishy AP mage champion, someone like a Lux or a Xerath. As long as you can dodge their skill shots, then it's going to be very easy for you to burst them down in the early game. Now the two honorable mentions here for mid lane are going to be Cassiopeia and Karma. It was honestly really hard for me to come up with like some good first blood mid lane champions, because a lot of the mid lane champions, they aren't really that great at getting first blood, to be honest. There aren't really any mid lane champions that stand out to me as just being like super good in the early game and just always get first blood. But as for Cassiopeia and Karma, Cassiopeia, if you do end up going Ignite on her, then your level 2 all-in is really good if you do hit your Q and you follow up with your E. The only thing that I don't like about her is that she does run out of mana really quickly. So if you don't end up getting that level 2 all-in and you don't get the kill, then you will be very low on mana for the rest of the laning phase. Now Karma, the reason why she's good at getting first bloods is because she does have her ultimate at level 1, and if you can hit the Mantra Q, then you're going to chunk the opponent down super low, and if they do end up staying in the lane and staying for CS, then you can look to do that again once your Mantra is back up. You can root them with your W, go for another Mantra Q, and if you do have Ignite, then you should be able to pick up that first blood. If we move over to the jungle now, this is the role where I'm going to be giving like more than 3 champions, because there are a lot of good first blood jungle champions. So starting it off here is going to be Lee Sin. Lee Sin has always been known as one of the strongest early game jungle champions. He can invade really well in the early game because he does have the execute damage with his Q. So if he does go for an invade like on the enemy and they're low taking their buff, it's just so easy for you to Q them, and you don't even have to take your Q right away after. You can like wait till they flash away, use your Q again, and it's just very easy to pick up that first blood if you do play Lee Sin correctly. Next up is going to be Shaco. So Shaco is one of the best level 2 cheese first blood junglers, just because he's got the stealth with his Q, so it's very hard to like play against a Shaco in the early game. If you are playing mid lane and there's an enemy Shaco, then I would play really like safe in the early game, because if the Shaco knows what he's doing, he can just walk into the bush, use his Q, and if his mid lane champion does have some sort of crowd control ability that they can use to like CC the enemy mid laner, it's going to be very easy to get first blood with him. It's going to be harder to get first blood like if your mid laner doesn't have a crowd control ability, because you don't have like any hard CC with Shaco, so it is going to be easy for them to flash away. But if you do get their flash, then you can just look for a repeat gank like after you take your blue buff or something and get a nice first blood with him. Next in the jungle is going to be Evelyn. So Evelyn is very similar to Shaco in the sense that she does thrive in the early game due to her stealth mechanic. You can easily look for invades in the early game as Evelyn, because at level 2 and level 3, the enemy jungler probably doesn't have a pink ward by then, so they're not going to see you coming into the jungle. You can also gank really well with Evelyn just due to your stealth. Usually when I do play her, I look to go for a nice gank at level 3 with her, and if my top laner does have some sort of crowd control, then it should be a pretty free kill. I do see some Evelyns like actually go Ignite and just go super aggressive in the early game, so if you are looking to just snowball the game out of control, then go Ignite on Evelyn and just try to gank really heavily. Next up is going to be Elise. So the reason to why Elise is so strong at getting first bloods is because she's one of the strongest dueling early game junglers in the game. Her dueling potential, if she does end up hitting that cocoon, is better than any other champion in the game, and you cannot out duel an Elise if she does end up getting the jump on you. Her ganks are also really good in the early game because I'm pretty sure her cocoon is a 1.5 second stun at rank 1, so if you do hit that, then you're gonna be able to follow up with a lot of damage and at least burn the enemy's flash. And my last pick here for the jungle is going to be Twitch. So in pre-season 7, Twitch is getting some really good buffs to his Q. The duration of his stealth is going up to 10 seconds now at rank 1. So definitely look out for Twitch in the preseason. I would highly recommend like giving him a shot if you want to play like a strong early game jungle champion, because you can just gank, you can lane gank so easily with Twitch. If your laner does follow up, then you should very easily be able to secure first blood, at least in 50% of the games when you do play Twitch. If you're not getting first blood with this champion most of the time, then you are probably playing him wrong. And to round out this video, if we take a look at the top lane now, my number 1 pick is going to be Pantheon. So Pantheon's early game is better than pretty much any other top laner because he does have the insane poke with his Q. If you poke the enemy down at level 1 with your Q and then level up your W at level 2 and go for that all in, you should be able to at least burn the flash and get first blood a lot of the time. I would definitely recommend taking Ignite on top lane Pantheon. You don't really need teleport on him. And honestly, I would recommend taking Ignite on all of these champions here that I'm recommending for top lane because the snowball potential and the potential for you to get first blood with them is really strong if you do take it. My next pick here is going to be Jarvan. So right now Jarvan actually has the highest win rate for any top lane champion, and I feel like it's just because he's such a strong assassin champion, and if you do get first blood with him, which is actually very easy to do, then you can just snowball the game out of control. When you do play him, how you want to get first blood is you want to try to poke the enemy down at level 1 with your Q a little bit, and then go for the EQ combo once you do hit level 2. Your EQ combo combined with your empowered auto attack from your passive is going to deal so much damage, and if you are going up against like a squishier top lane champion or a top lane champion who really doesn't have the best early game, then you should be able to get first blood a lot of the time with Jarvan. And the final pick here for top lane is going to be Jayce. So Jayce is one of the best laning top laners right now. He's just so annoying to play against because his poke is really good. He outranges most of the other top laners. And if you do try to jump on Jayce, he can just go into hammer form and like knock you away, and you really can't do too much against him. You want to try to poke the enemy down like at level 1 with your autos, get a Q in if you can, and then at level 2, try to get an EQ combo, jump in with your Q in hammer form, pop the ignite on them, and then E them away. I'm pretty sure your E does do some sort of % health damage, so you want to try to use that last to try to finish them off. And a lot of the time, if you do go for that combo and you get a little poke at level 1, then you should be able to get first blood with Jayce. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you think I did miss a certain champion that is really good at getting first blood. I think that all of these champions on my list are the best at getting first blood, and you can get first blood like a lot of the time with these champions. There are some other strong first blood champions, but you're not going to be able to get that first blood in like every single game with them. For example, Riven does have the potential to get first blood a lot of the time, but if you are going up against someone like a Kennen or a Jayce or like a ranged top laner, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get the first blood in those matchups. So with that being said, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys have not already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.